All right. So earlier I was talking to you all about spiritual reasons for having fibroids and also how the nervous system needs to be regulated in order to heal properly. So I became Nichiren Buddhist in 2012, and we chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo to become absolutely happy. And I'm finishing some of my meal, which is a blood type meal called a turkey perlo bowl. Yes, I do eat meat, and I live a fuck these fibrous lifestyle. Yes. So more on that later. But anyway, I was asked to give my experience dealing with fibroids at the Nichiren Buddhist Center from the SGI USA. I belong to the organization, the SGI USA, and this is my experience that I gave at the beginning of this month, which is Fibroid Awareness Month, and I will read it to you. An experience is like a testimony in church, in the Christian church, okay? So here we go. Good morning. My name is Kertisha Johnson, aka Madam CJ, and I have been practicing this Buddhism since May 2012. I am the Vice Women's District Leader in South Fulton chapter of the West End District. In 2008, I was 35 years old when I was diagnosed with uterine fibroids. What began as a health concern quickly unfolded into a 15-year initiation, a spiritual, emotional, and physical journey to reclaim my womb and my wellness on my own terms. Hysterectomy was never an option for me. It was never one that I would accept. The womb to me is more than just a reproductive organ. It is a vessel for creative energy, intuition, and ancestral power, even for those who have never given birth. I inherited this reverence for the womb from my great great maternal grandmother, Hattie Louise Piggies, a midwife who practiced after slavery, and my maternal grandmother, Evelyn Marion Carter, whose life was claimed by uterine cancer. As a child, I had two dreams: to become a singer and an OBGYN. Life took me down a creative and holistic path, but my devotion to womb wellness never wavered. I began studying natural healing immediately after my diagnosis. Through diet, herbs, energy work, and consistent spiritual practice, I was even able to eliminate some fibroids naturally on my own. But I also knew I needed medical intervention for what remained. And so the search began for a doctor who honored my vision, my body, and my refusal to part with my uterus unless absolutely necessary. It took years, insurance issues, misaligned providers, and even a pandemic. Still, I never gave up. In the summer of 2023, after a mystical series of signs, I met Dr. Obia Makamura. I saw her twice unexpectedly. Clear signals from the universe. When I told her my goal, she listened. Together, we planned a two-part approach: a uterine fibroid immobilization to cut off blood supply to the tumors, followed by an abdominal myomectomy to remove the tumors. The procedures were scheduled for July 2024. The UFE came first on the very day the internet went down globally, child. But I was protected. Dr. Moore insisted I stay overnight, and I'm glad she did. My dear Yoho Queen Mother, Lorraine Fields, brought me healing soup, alkaline water, and chanting. I cannot thank her enough for keeping me on track, even with all the pain I experienced during these moments. And Yoho Mama is like the mother in our Buddhist practice. She is a pioneer member. She's someone who has been practicing for a very long time. Tina Turner is like my Yoho mother. If it was not for her, I would not know about the practice of Nichiren Buddhism, which we chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Okay, back to my experience. On July 31st, I returned for the myomectomy. My mother was with me. I had to correct the hospital staff because they had mistakenly listed me for excision of uterus. I caught the error calmly because, child, I can really go off sometimes. But thankfully, for this practice, I have learned how to control my emotions and regulate them. The surgery lasted 2.5 hours. No blood transfusion was needed. No cancer was found. No complications in my surgery. And then came the blessing, the big benefit. The hospital waived my $8,000 deductible through financial assistance. Later, I enrolled in a new insurance plan that only cost me $61.75 per month. Now, 1 year later, I am thriving. I feel more vibrant, more centered, more myself than I have in decades. I see this phase of life, perimenopause, not as a decline, but as a second puberty, a neurological and spiritual upgrade. Everything I've learned is now integrated into the products and services of my company, Divine Clementine Bath and Body LLC. My healing is now part of my business, my story, and my offering to others. I also need to thank my Yoho sister who told me to draw my uterus the way I wanted it to be. She told me to chant. She told me to visualize. That sacred act of creativity and intention helped anchor my healing. The Go Show, which is the like our Bible in Nichiren Buddhism, the Go Show. The tax and the coochie persecution remains a guiding fight whenever I face enormous challenges, casting off the transient to reveal the true. Through my spiritual practice, I've learned a few things from this experience. Trust my body, trust my spirit. It's okay to hire and fire doctors, ask questions, pray, chant, visualize, and never stop advocating for my own sacred wellness. A quote from Ikeda Sensei reads, health is not simply the absence of illness. Real health is the will to overcome every form of adversity and use even the worst of circumstances as a springboard for new growth and development. Simply put, the essence of health is the constant renewal and rejuvenation of life. And that is my experience with fibroids and Nichiren Buddhism. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it helps somebody today. And if you have any questions, please, please, please contact me.